Welcome to this latest edition of the Ril Dil podcast. I'm your host, Ril Gerald Quinn, on this 24th of February 2022. This is episode 813 of the Ril Dil podcast, Snowfall. We are back with Snowfall season 5, episodes 1 and 2, comments and commitment. Of course, for the second straight year, they decide to do a 2-hour season premiere, and certainly we will never complain about there ever being too much snowfall. As right now, I think that this, without question, in my mind, this is the best show on television. Um, a lot going on in this particular episode. We kind of fast forward to 1986, which probably, when you think about the crack epidemic, you think about what was going on in the 80s, right in the heart, in the middle of, with Ronald Reagan being president. That was certainly a great year to pivot to if you're the show. And we immediately get reminded of a sports tragedy that kind of shook the whole country. And that, of course, was Len Bias's tragic death. They reenact the scene where Len Bias dies doing cocaine in his dorm room, and that kind of served as kind of like a backdrop of what was going to happen throughout the course of the episode. Um, Again, they split these episodes into 2 episodes. This was you could obviously say that the first episode was the Franklin episode, and the second episode was the Teddy Mack episode. Um, Franklin now is he's bigger than ever. He's expanded into, not only, I mean, obviously he's going beyond kingpin status. He's now deep into the real estate business. He has now has a love interest named Veronique, who is going to who's going to have his child. So you see the stakes are that much higher for Franklin in terms of his personal life. And as usual, Franklin has to deal with some inner turmoil right off the bat. You have a situation where Rob, his friend Rob's having a party. They having a party, and then that leads to a shooting. We'll talk about that later on. So not much has changed in the world of Franklin Saint and having to deal with these issues on top of issues. Um, you really saw that. We look at some of the themes of this episode. I would say at any cost, you saw Franklin doing whatever it takes, and you saw Teddy Mack doing whatever it takes at any cost, no matter what that they did what they had to do in order to keep things moving. Um, you saw one move being necessary. The other move with Teddy Mack might not quite have been necessary, but we'll talk more about that over the course of the episode. Best scenes. We'll talk about the party shooting. So they're having this party at Rob's house. Now, of course, Rob has been around since the beginning of the series. Franklin's, one of Franklin's friends in high school, friends growing up. He really, that's how Franklin, in essence, almost basically got started. When Franklin first got started, he got that was with Rob was one of the key people that helped Franklin get started in terms of this. So these two were very close, had a very close relationship. But Rob is using. He's visibly, you can see it on his face that he's visibly using. He throws this party. A friend of his named Thad shoots a guy who, and let's listen. I've never been to a cocaine party. All right, never been to a cocaine party, but I'm pretty sure that if you are a unknown and you walk into a party, probably not the brightest idea to sniff a line before saying, "Hey, can I get, is it cool?" This guy comes right into the party. He knows Rob, of course, so he knows Rob, but nobody else knows him. He goes immediately and starts sniffing their coke, and Dad is like, like basically like what the fuck are you doing? Like what you nobody knows you. What are we doing here? So the dude, you know, I don't think much was going to be made of it. And then he said calls Dad under his breath, called basically calls Dad an asshole. And Dad, of course, Dad is a cokehead as well. He has a gun on him, thinks he's a fake gangster. Dad immediately pulls a gun on him. Rob tries to calm him down, and to no avail. Well, initially Rob kind of talked him down, but then as soon as Rob is walking away, Dad shoots the guy twice, and then you have all hell. All chaos breaks loose. Chaos breaks loose. Now you have a dead body at a coke party. Uh, at a coke party, and now Thad is, of course, is on the run, and now, of course, this all goes back to this is all connected towards this is all connected to Franklin, because Franklin is Rob's guy, and Rob is Dad's guy. So again, something that this is a situation that was brought upon by by the cocaine, and by the this one of the pitfalls of the drug business, dealing with situations that not are not necessarily that you didn't necessarily cause if you're Franklin, but Rob is your guy, and Rob is you're responsible for Rob, like Rob was responsible for this dude. So immediately they have a problem they have a problem with that. From that standpoint, they would later, of course, Franklin would later correct this problem. Um, so you had that as one of the best scenes. Franklin killing Rob. Um, yeah, so they kind of, I didn't believe that over the course of the episode. Most of this episode gave you the sense that Franklin wanted to get Rob clean. Of course, Franklin knows that Rob is doing is Franklin knows that Rob is getting high, not only getting high, but Rob is basically, coked out. He's seen this situation. He's seen this movie before with Wanda. Now, he gave Wanda, Wanda gave Wanda grace because of Leon. Otherwise, Wanda would have been dead. That's the only reason why he kept Wanda alive for those, in terms of in season. This is going back to like season one, season two. He does not have the same grace with Rob, because at this point, Franklin is at the top of the heap. Again, he has too much going on. He has too many things that are on that he has too many things that he's attached to. And more importantly, he's going to be a father. So you see the scene where um where Rob shoots Dad. So I forgot, I could actually put that on there, but that's kind of like connected to a scene. Rob shoots Dad. They go up, they find Dad. Rob shoots Dad. That we knew that was going to happen. We knew that Dad was a dead man as soon as he pulled that trigger, and that Franklin was going to get that situation taken care of. But they kind of kept you. I did not think up until that point throughout most of the episode that Franklin was going to end up killing Rob. I thought that, but when you see them, flash forward to the next morning, Franklin's in the bed. He's with Veronique, and she says, I basically we need, you need to. He basically tells her he will do whatever it takes to protect to protect the baby, protect his child. And then you go back, and then you see Franklin kill Rob as Rob is talking about Haley's Comet. Um, yeah, this was a move that had to be made by Franklin, because number one, Rob is on the pipe. He could not be, he's free basing. He couldn't be trusted. And Rob had already given up some important information to Thad. Thad, before they killed Thad, was asking about Franklin's CIA connect, which is, we all know, is Teddy Mack, and wondering if he can get him a passport, some fake passports to get out, to basically get out of Dodge. So, and he had previously asked Rob in the episode whether or not, what does this dude know? He can blow up our whole organization if he starts to run his mouth. And Rob says, Rob says, hey, he doesn't know anything. The guy doesn't know anything, and I won't let him hurt us, and so on and so on. then Franklin knows that at that point he knows that he could not trust Rob. Whether or not but he believed that Rob intentionally lied to him. The point is Rob, Rob was a liability. He could not be trusted. So that was a situation where he had to kill Rob. Like Rob had to go. Um, and there was just no two ways about it. In where Franklin is at now. Again, difference between Rob versus say Wanda or even versus Leon last season. Leon, um, Rob, Rob was a key element. It was a key part of the organization, but really not a replaceable, not an irreplaceable part of the organization. Like the drugs are still going to get moved. It's going to compromise the situation somewhat, but not to a point to where like this guy can't be taken out. The most difficult part of it probably was the emotional connection that he had with Rob. Again, he grew up with him in high school, what have you. But um, this had to be done by Franklin. It's just all. There's just no two ways about it. Um, you see, and you see in the second episode. So the first episode was basically a lot of setting up to show you where Franklin was at and was at. You see Franklin again. You see Franklin. They wanted to make Franklin look older. He has a mustache now. They wanted to make he's boxing a little bit more physically imposing. So they're trying to make Franklin look like a more imposing. He's a man now. Like he's a man in terms of he's a fully grown man, and he's I get the sense that they wanted to get rid of that boyish type image, type figure that we have seen in the past 2 or 3 seasons. Even going back to last season when he was when he's a kingpin and what have you. Um, with the mustache, and now in real estate, he's doing grown man shit in terms of with the real estate, being a father. In a serious relationship last season, he really, you can call it that thing with Tanase was not a real relationship. That was a basically, that basically was a jump off. I mean, let's be honest with it, a jump off with somebody that he thought he could trust, that he could, that he ended up not, that he ended up betraying him in terms of what we saw Tanase. So this is a different Franklin that we see, more calculated, colder Franklin that we see, and it is part of the development of his character, of the character. Grady and Teddy Mack. So Grady was put in place, replaced Teddy Mack. Remember, Teddy Mack was out of the CIA. He kind of went rogue at the end of last season. Grady's the replacement. Grady's working with Franklin. Grady likes to party. Grady likes to party. Grady's giving Franklin a nice price on the $9,000, giving him a nice price with the drugs, at $9,000 per key. So Franklin likes working with Grady, but Grady's sloppy. And what we see this. Grady, he's also not only is he working with Franklin in regards to the drugs, but he's also working with Franklin in regards to the real estate. He's sleeping with one of Franklin's new bodyguards, or new in terms of Diamond in Dallas. You remember them from last season. They were the hit people, the hit persons, kind of hitmen for Khadijah, from last season. And remember, Franklin had them flip on Khadijah and basically bought them off. So now they're working for him, and Grady is sleeping with Diamond, um, which is not the move. And Teddy, of course, Teddy gets himself back into the mix with the CIA. He starts to, Teddy has stopped drinking. He's not doing any drugs and then like that. So he's gotten himself back in the good graces to the CIA. Things are not going well in California, and Teddy puts himself in the position basically of power to where he knows that Los Angeles, he knows Franklin, so he ends up getting himself back to where he's needed again, in terms of to where he's needed. He goes in, spies on Grady, does it, puts on a disguise, recognizes that Grady is sloppy, stealing money, Also, and notices all those things about Grady in terms of him sleeping with Diamond, and also having a lot of parties and things of that nature. So he now the CIA, Franklin's Teddy's superior basically says, keep it quiet. Like don't just keep this quiet. They were gonna move Grady out, but keep it quiet. And Teddy takes it a step further where he doesn't keep it quiet. He ends up killing Grady, moves Grady out, and then so we see Teddy, willing to do anything to get back into that position to where he was going to be the guy in Los Angeles, the point person in Los Angeles, to work with Franklin again and to kind of restore, try in his eyes, restore order. Um, the final scene of both episodes, of course, I thought was the best scene. A meeting between Franklin and Teddy. Franklin expects that it's going to be Grady, and it turns out it's Teddy. And Franklin is surprised to see Teddy. Teddy basically gives him, says, "Hey, Grady's out. Um, Grady's out. We're gonna push the keys. The keys are gonna be instead of $9,000 per key, it's gonna be $10,000 a key." And Franklin offers Franklin plays it cool. Um, a lot of underlining tension between the two, but Franklin plays it cool, offers him a cigar. Uh, Teddy takes a cigar, also basically says, and a lighter as well, and they are back working together. And then at the end, we see that Franklin had a gun in the cigar, in the cigar case. Now, I don't know if Franklin had any intentions on killing Teddy Mack. I don't think he did, but I'm sure the thought crossed his mind. Now, keep in mind through both of these episodes, we we don't see we don't get a clear answer about Franklin's father per se. Like we didn't it was a death. Now I think Franklin's father is dead. You heard the superior. You heard Teddy's superior basically say, is working with Franklin going to be a problem considering what took place in Cuba? And Teddy basically says, I don't know what you're talking about. It'll be fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going on the assumption that Alden is dead. Now Franklin did talk to his mother, but briefly. And the connection was bad. He told her that his girlfriend was pregnant. And before even she responded, but that that connection ended up the connection ended up breaking and ended up losing the connection. Now there's some things going around where does a couple of questions. You know, does Sissy know? I mean, is Sissy protecting Franklin from himself? Does she know? I mean, she like enough time has passed where she has to know like Alden is dead. Okay, she has to know Alden is dead. So why hasn't Sissy told Franklin that Alden is dead? Why hasn't been discussed? So I feel like we're gonna find out about that sooner than later. By I think in the next couple of episodes we should find about what's going on with that, because it seemed kind of odd that Sissy didn't have a reaction about what transpired with Alden and Teddy. My theory is that Sissy is protecting Franklin from himself, that she's afraid of what Franklin will do if he finds out. If he finds out that his father's been killed by Teddy Mack. She knows how dangerous Teddy Mack is. He understands the government. Like, I think that's my theory, that she's protecting Franklin from himself. I know there have been some other theories that that's actually not Sissy, that she could be, Sissy could possibly be dead. That's not the case, because we saw previews for the season where Sissy was in. I saw even the trailer, the season 5 trailer, we saw a preview that had Sissy in it. So I don't. So Sissy's not dead. He didn't. Teddy did not kill. Did not kill Sissy. Um, I think that again. I think that she was um protecting Franklin from himself in essence. MVP this episode I thought was Rob. I thought the actor that played Rob did a tremendous job with just kind of like he did not know that he was going to die. Like he had no clue whatsoever that he was going to die throughout the course of the episode. We know that he's that he's that he's hooked on the drugs that he's hooked on and that he was hooked on and freebasing. But a lot of times when you get these actors who are playing these quote unquote crackheads that it's not not the easiest role to play in regards to to avoid or you can easily do a lot of overacting and just you can go just it can be it's hard to be an understated crackhead playing in a role. We saw some people like think about Chris Rock in New Jack City. Think about even Samuel Jackson in Jungle Fever. Just kind of over the top with the crack. That's like the crackhead Hall of Fame of that's the crackhead movie Hall of Fame. Those two, like those are you think crackheads in movies. You think Chris Rock, Pookie, and you think Samuel Jackson's. I forgot what name Samuel Jackson was in Jungle Fever, but this guy Rob, whoever I don't know what the actor's name is, was very understated. You see him talking about the comments. You see that he clearly is not built for, you saw that he did not want to kill Thad and that he, clearly wasn't built for that. He had to kind of be forced into finishing off he didn't want to do it, but Peaches basically forced him saying that you're going to finish this off. You're going to finish this. And because of this problem that, this is your guy, you're going to finish, you're going to finish the job. So I thought he was the MVP of the show. And again, when you see it, this is a guy that we have not seen a lot in the show. So when you see a guy get a lot, it's normally not a good sign for an actor when he gets when he gets an episode and he's in a lot of that episode and he gets more story than he normally has. That's normally not a good sign that his character is going to last. So, Rob, they get rid of Rob. Again, something that had to be done. A couple other things. You have Wanda, you have Louis and Jerome are doing their thing. Franklin's trying to get them involved in a business deal. They're still, you notice, and Louis mentions it that the prices that they're having trouble keeping up with the competition because the prices of cocaine are lowering. It's more accessible, so they, that's one of the reasons why Franklin wanted to keep, that price at $9,000 a key, at $9,000 per key. So you're gonna that's something to keep your eye on. Jerome is out here buying horses. They're purchasing weapons from Avi. You see Avi is still working with Teddy Mack. And then you see, listen, this season is going to be dictated by two characters. It's going to be dictated by Franklin and Teddy Mack. Everybody else out. Those are the two meteors that are heading in, that are heading towards each other. It's going to be a cat and mouse with those two trying to navigate and trying to basically, in a way, control each other and and basically Franklin trying to avoid the control of Teddy Mack. Teddy Mack is back in power now, and you get the sense that Teddy Mack is this, the guy Grady, during that scene where he and Grady the scene before he took out Grady, the one at the dinner table, at Grady's dinner table or what have you, at his kitchen table, Grady basically says, you want these guys who are basically like a lifer. This is basically all you have. And he wasn't wrong. Like Teddy Mack is so deep into it, he doesn't give a shit about his family. The CIA his supervisor mentioned something about his wife and kid. He was like, they'll be fine. And you see him looking at pictures of his kid with his seemingly his wife's, either new husband or boyfriend or what have you, and her kid and his kid. So this guy he is a 24/365 24 hour 24/7 CIA guy. Like this is all he cares about. And I think that, I look at, look at a battle between he and Franklin. Right now, Franklin is seemingly more in control of what he's doing versus Teddy Mack. I think Teddy Mack, again, Teddy Mack's not using, he's not drinking, but Teddy Mack is a little unstable right now. He really is. I mean, he wanted in the worst way to get back into it, get back in LA, go right back and really, I think what he's gonna, if I had predictions for the season, I think he's gonna underestimate how far Franklin has come, and Franklin's intelligence. I really think that will be his downfall, and I think Franklin will end up winning this battle between he and Teddy Mack. I mean, besides the fact that Damson Idris is the star of the show, and well, I mean, these are the two biggest stars in the show. I mean, Damson Idris and Carter Hudson. These are the two biggest, most important characters in the show. But I think that this battle, um, I think this is going to be a very interesting chess match between these two. And again, this season is showing that is headed towards that without question. You see, we saw Wanda is completely clean, and she had a phone sex job. One of those 900, one of those 900 number phone sex jobs for about 5 minutes, and of course she didn't want to go. Wasn't going to, wasn't willing to sleep with her boss to get some for more money, so she quits that job, and she wants, now it's gonna be interesting because she wants back in, and basically Leon tells her, this is not for you anymore, and Leon, Leon, this is where you see a compassionate Leon, a Leon that he's looking out for the kids. He questioned, did Franklin have to kill Rob? So Leon is in the game, but Leon, it's kind of like it's not the Leon we saw the first two seasons where, out of control Leon. There's been a maturity in Leon. Leon's matured as well. Like Leon is in a place where he is has seen what this game has cost, the cost of the game. He can't remember. He was pressured into staying in the game. He wanted out, but basically was pressured into staying in because of by Franklin, because of what everything Franklin did for him in terms of basically not giving him up to Man Boy or Scully in the previous season. So good, for excellent first two episodes. A lot of people were excited about this season and what the potential of this season could bring. A lot of people were. I was surprised that a lot of people, you know, were talking about what last season wasn't. I thought last season was phenomenal. I thought last season was tremendous. So I didn't get that vibe. I definitely didn't understand why people didn't like why there were some people that were not feeling last season. I thought last season was tremendous. Couple of setup episodes, 10 episodes as always, and again, they're gonna have to address the Louis. They're gonna have to address the Sissy out in that situation, what transpired in that situation. They're going, and also do we know that there's going to be a conflict with Jerome Louis dealing with having Teddy back in the mix. So we'll be on the kind of looking out for that over the course of this season. That's going to wrap it up for this latest edition of the Ril Dil podcast, Snowfall season 5, episodes 1 and 2. I will see you next time. Enjoy your evening.